Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review from my 80s horror-thon, and this time is Don't Answer the Phone. There are a lot of movies with don't in the title back then, to the point that when Grindhouse with Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez was made, and they had the fake trailers, the director Shaun of the Dead himself, Edgar Wright, did a fake trailer called Don't. I mean, back then you had, of course, Don't Answer the Phone, Don't Go in the House, which I'll review next, Don't Go in the Basement, Don't Go in the Park, Don't Go in the Woods, Don't Shit in the Paper Bag, Don't Go to the Bathroom, Don't Piss in the Wind, Don't Puke on Your Mother. I mean, who knows how many don'ts there are. Don't Piss in the Gas Tank. But anyway, Don't Answer the Phone. I wouldn't say I liked the film. I'm glad I saw it at least once. There's elements I like it. In a way, the movie, it's not a good film, but it kept me watching, sometimes in a bad, entertaining way, and in other ways where, hey, I sincerely liked it. Because it has this weird vibe, like, and picture a 70s cop show mixed in with a sleazy strangler slasher flick. It has this sleazy grindhouse vibe. The musical score was kind of quirky, and I enjoyed it in that way. I did enjoy the score quite a bit. It's just a quirky, weird score. I don't know if synthesizer is the right word for it, or the best part of it is the killer, Nicholas Worth. He's a big guy in the film. He's a Vietnam vet. At times he's working out as if he was a bodybuilder. Big, strong guy. And you may remember him from Darkman. He was one of the bad guys in Darkman. He was also in Swamp Thing. I believe he was the guy in that film where he's one of the bad guys. I think he's the one that gets turned to a pig or something. Like he gets turned to a creature by Arcane. I believe that's Nicholas Worth. And he was very intimidating and very, I wouldn't say scary. But if I saw him in real life, I would be scared. May rest in peace, Nicholas Worth, but I thought he did a really good job. He felt realistic and intimidating as fuck. He was definitely the best actor in the film, and for me, it was worth a watch just to see his performance. The movie is violent, but I would say, I mean, when he's strangling women, it's violent. He's a rapist, but they don't go too far in the rape. It's not I Spit on Your Grave. It's not a Serbian film of martyrs. I would say it's not even as bad as Maniac with Joe Spinell. Like, that's definitely a more violent, definitely more bloody film. This one, again, the strangling, it's a bit unsettling, but I think they did it to the point where there are some people that probably feel it's too tame. But for me, I was fine with it. And movie is kind of, you have scenes of him either talking to himself or talking to his dad who isn't there. And those scenes are really good. Like he's like, no one can stop me because I'm too strong, too smart, and too good. And yeah, his imaginary conversation with his dad, just very intense and intimidating performance by Nicholas Worth. And there are times where he'll talk to someone, he seems very calm, and on a dime he'll switch. Like he'll be like, oh, I'm crying. Then on a switch he'll change to being insane. And some may feel that's a bad way to do it, but to me it's like kind of a character kept me off guard in a good way. Now the thing that makes it bad is you have these the 70s cop show aspect, we have these two detectives. The main guy is James Westmoreland, who they're trying to be cool and badass. They're trying to do this dialogue. It's almost as if this film is trying to go in the Last House on the Left, although even Last House, it has that weird tonal shift where it's very intimidating and trying to be unsettling. Then it's like trying to have comedy with the cops. That's just like, is this trying to be a comedy now, or maybe it's its form of levity? Okay, for example, there's also this other guy, I forget who he was, like a doctor or pathologist, I forget what he was, or a photographer. They take a picture of the breasts, and then the other guy goes, well, which one? She has two of them. And the guy just went, the one that was nearly bitten off. Or talks with this lady psychiatrist who's another one of our lead characters, Dr. Dale, and her acting was kind of wooden. Well, kind of. It's pretty wooden at times. And like the cops thought it was a psychiatrist, the cops did, man, don't you give a shit about getting this man off the street? And she's like, well, what do you want, a firing squad? And he's like, hey, that's not a bad idea. And this, it was almost kind of entertaining to me, the cops. But not in the way I'm sure the movie makes us think. And like when it's their story, like there's this funky 70s music when the task force is looking into stuff. There's a moment where they try to ask for this pimp and a shootout happens. And there's a bust. And then like all these people, as if it's Cheech and Chong's next movie when there's a bust and all these people coming out of the hallway. Like straight out of that movie. Where like all these weird people are coming out of the woodwork because they think it's a bust. The pimp is talking to another guy. Who the fuck you calling dumb, asshole breath? And like this buzz is fairly goofy, and then the cops shoot the pimp as if they're dirty fucking Harry. But then it'll come to an intense scene where the killer is having an imaginary conversation with his dad. But then it'll come to like the cop, the lead, James Westmoreland, this cop stops the girl from suicide. This is how he stops the girl from suicide. He goes, it's against the law to commit suicide. Now how about you get your ass in here before you catch cold? Like this is how he talks and it works, and the girl like comes down and I mean I'm kind of laughing at the cop's performance in a bad entertaining level, but I could see why people don't like the film. I can't say this is a good film at all. This is a film that's kind of schizophrenic on its own, where it's like the idea is like a 70s cop. My friend Michael CP said it best. It's a episode of Starsky and Hutch, or a more violent one. But yeah, it's trying to be this 70s sleazy exploitation grindhouse movie. Again, that weird vibe kind of kept me interested. I'm like, this is, compared to some of the films I've been seeing this marathon, this is kind of entertaining to watch. So it's not a rant. But I mean, again, I can't call it a good film. Kind of a weird film. There's a point where the villain is Nicholas Worth is a porn photographer, and he will strangle girls. He'll pour candle wax on them. But again, you don't see anything too graphic, which I'm fine with, because the imagination could. Believe me, I love gore and slasher films, but in this instance, the imagination works better for me. And he's supposed to be a rapist, but you don't see anything. It doesn't go that too far. So yeah, I think it did it the right way. But they'll cut to the cops have this psychic pass by, and he's explaining what he's hearing. And then they arrest the psychic, but then they let him go because, of course, he's innocent. And then but at the finale, the bad guy is going after Dr. Dale, the psychiatrist, which her character I thought was pretty lame. Just in one ear out the other, didn't care for her. Like I said, Nicholas Worth, well, let me finish what I was saying. The killer goes after her, ties her up. But even this scene was supposed to be intense. Like the dialogue they give the psychiatrist, she's trying to talk him down. And so she says like, you ever have something you care about? You ever have a puppy? And then Nicholas goes, oh yeah, I had a puppy. I had a puppy and I loved it. And then I strangled it. And like Nicholas Worth, his performance I liked. Because I could buy an insane guy being like, he probably was faking out like, yeah, you got me. You got the bullshit you did. I viewed it like he was pretending to cry. And then he was pissed off at her and taped her mouth shut. But just like the psychiatrist like bringing that up in the first place. There you go. Really? You're a shitty psychiatrist. But it's with me like this is a film that will go from the killer calling Dr. Dale and then killing someone over the phone for her to hear it. But it's the same film that in the third act the cops go to the wrong place. And the guy they get is a guy who makes toys. And considering this film, I'm like, is it sex toys? But no, it's just regular toys. At least I think. It's like, the guy you want is next door. And the ending was fun to me. Because it's like this cop who I'm kind of laughing at his performance. And then Nicholas Worth, who I'm intimidated by his performance. They fight. And like the cop shoots him, I think, the killer in the dick, and then beats up Nicholas Worth, and then shoots him multiple times, and the guy falls to the water, and the cop's like, adios, creep. And then you see the killer dead in the water, and then the end credits, there's no music. So that's what I mean. Like this is for me, just me. It was an interesting film to watch on almost a schizophrenic level. Like it's trying to be almost a goofy 70s cop show with a bit of violence, but then this sleazy strangler with this really good performance by Nicholas Worth and this strange amalgamation of the two that it doesn't make a good movie, but for me it was an interesting movie to watch. And Nicholas Worth's performance on a good level, and the rest of it almost on a bad but entertaining level. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the so bad so good level of Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2, which is a more fun movie. But this, I can't say I was mad watching it. I'm glad I saw it. Is that, you know what, I'm actually, it's too, I don't know if there was a special edition Blu-ray of this. If not, I'm actually, if there's not, that's actually too bad, because I would have liked to have seen Nicholas Worth's interview on this, or even Jace Westmoreland, or even the director, just to know what the hell happens. Like, why is this film such this weird thing that it is? So I mean, it's hard to recommend the film, but it's a film that, if I saw it for cheap, I would add it to my collection just for the thin, strange vibe that it has. And I mean, just Sarah and I saw films like Schizoid and Terror on Tour and New Year's Evil and Mongrel, which that'll be later, that piece of shit from 1982, and other films. The film didn't make me mad. It was, do I call it an interesting failure? But I've kind of, even my mind is being schizophrenic. I almost want to say I recommend it, but at the same time, it's It's on YouTube for free. It's one of those weird things where it says it's like 2 hours and 22 minutes, but the person just uploaded the film, and then from beginning to end, then it like, I guess, added scenes from it afterward. I guess because, well, this film could not be 2 hours 22 minutes, so I guess to fool the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, it was on YouTube for free. I don't know if it is anymore by the time you see this, but that's where I saw it. So yeah, yeah, that's the best I could do, folks. But either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in another video later.